Your heart might be racing right now because you know you're capable of more. But something is holding you back. Have you ever felt the frustration of watching others reach big goals while you stay stuck in the same place? In the next few minutes, you'll discover 10 clear steps that can change how you think, act, and move toward real success. You'll learn how to make decisions with confidence, how to face tough challenges and grow stronger, and how to raise your own standards so high that excuses won't stand a chance. You'll see how to protect your energy, take charge of every outcome, and use your time like a priceless tool. This isn't about quick fixes or empty promises. It's about simple actions you can start today and feel in your own body. Your breath deepening, your focus sharpening, your belief in yourself building. Stay with me. Take these steps seriously, and let's begin your shift toward a billionaire mindset. Number 1, decide today to never think like average people. There comes a time in your life when you look around and realize something's off. You start asking questions. Why do some people rise while others stay stuck? Why do some fight for greatness while others settle for scraps? And why, despite all the information, the books, the advice, most people still live paycheck to paycheck, emotionally flat, mentally lazy, spiritually asleep? Here's why. Most people never decide to stop thinking like average people. That's it. That's the hidden enemy. The comfort of average thinking. The disease of normal thinking. And if you don't make a decision today, right now, to cut it off, to never return to it again, you'll never break through. You'll never build what you could have built. You'll never become who you could have become. See, the problem isn't just that people dream small. It's that they've been trained to stay small. From a young age, most people were told to fit in, not stand out. They were told to behave, not to build. They were told to be grateful for what they had, not to reach for what they could earn. And that training doesn't disappear on its own. It's sticky. It's everywhere. In school, in the workplace, in your own family. And if you're not careful, it becomes your voice. It becomes the way you talk to yourself. Start believing that it's better to be safe than sorry, that it's better to follow than to lead, that it's better to stay comfortable than to stretch. But I want to challenge that, because the moment you decide to stop thinking like average people, your life starts to change. And I mean really change. Not in theory, not in 10 years, right now. The very moment you stop following the way most people think, your brain wakes up, your emotions catch fire. You stop comparing, you start creating, you stop waiting, you start building, and you begin to feel alive again, not just existing. So what does average thinking sound like? It sounds like this. I don't have time. I can't afford that. That's not realistic. What if I fail? It sounds like excuses dressed up as wisdom. It sounds like fear pretending to be logic. And I'll tell you something painful but true. The average mind always finds a way to justify staying stuck. It always finds a reason to wait, to delay, to settle. But if you're going to build a billionaire mindset, not just some wishy-washy dream, but a mind that actually attracts wealth, builds empires, creates impact, you have to decide that thinking like average people is beneath you. Not because you're better than others, but because you know you're built for more. You know deep inside that playing small is killing your potential. Now, some people will hear this and get offended. They'll say, "Are you saying I'm average?" No, I'm saying you're better than how you've been thinking. I'm saying that inside you is the ability to reshape your world. But it starts with what you think about all day long. And if you spend your day thinking like the people who gave up on their dreams, what do you think you'll become? You must begin to train your mind to reject the comfortable answers. You must start asking better questions. Ask yourself, who do I want to become? What do I want to build? What kind of impact do I want to leave? And then ask the harder questions. Am I acting like it? Am I thinking like it? Am I surrounding myself with the kind of people who challenge me to grow? Or the kind of people who just want me to stay the same? Average thinking loves company. It thrives in groups. You'll hear it at dinner tables, in break rooms, at parties. People talking about other people, complaining about politics, worrying about things they can't control. And while they're busy talking, someone else is building, someone else is risking, someone else is learning. That's the billionaire mindset in action. It's not just about money. It's about ownership. It's about taking control. It's about creating a world where your thoughts actually match your future. And here's what happens when you drop average thinking. You start seeing time differently. You stop wasting your hours scrolling through distractions. You start reading. You start planning. You start waking up with urgency. You begin to feel responsibility. Not stress, but purpose. You begin to feel the pull of something greater. And that pull, it's powerful. It makes you say no to things that used to keep you weak. It gives you the strength to walk away from people who laugh at growth. You start choosing what builds you, not what distracts you. But it takes a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a firm decision. One you make in private, one you repeat in silence, when no one's looking. One you remind yourself of every time the world tries to pull you back down. Because the world will try to drag you into the average way of thinking. It will tell you to calm down, to slow down, to be more realistic. And if you listen, you'll slip back. That's why your decision must be clear, strong, permanent. Decide today that you will no longer think like someone who gave up. You will no longer think like someone who needs permission. You will no longer think like someone who's waiting for a guarantee. You will think like someone who builds, who owns, who creates, who adapts, who wins. And it will not be easy. You'll have to wrestle with fear. You'll have to fight your old habit. You'll have to separate yourself from people who drain your fire. But it will be worth it, because you'll finally feel what it's like to live with purpose. You'll finally know what it feels like to wake up with power, not panic. You'll finally understand why the few rise while the many remain. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's mindset. And mindset can be built if you're willing to choose. So the question is not whether you're capable. You are. The question is not whether you deserve it. The question is whether you're ready to burn the bridge to average thinking and never walk back. Because the moment you do, your world changes. Your habits change. Your goals expand. Your conversations deepen. Your life becomes something rare, something you're proud to wake up to. And if you decide today to never again think like average people, you will separate yourself from 97% of the population without needing to prove anything to anyone. Just by the way you carry yourself. Just by the way you speak. Just by the way you pursue your future. This is the moment that divides who you've been from who you could become. Choose the road most won't. Choose the mindset most ignore. Choose to rise when others freeze. Choose to think on a level that demands more of you. Because that's where your best life is hiding. Not in comfort, but in the fire of self-mastery. Now go live like someone who decided. Number 2, train your mind to love long-term hard challenges. Every person who built something extraordinary went through seasons of pain they didn't enjoy, but they chose to stay. That's the difference. The world tells you success is about talent or luck. But if you study those who built real wealth, real legacy, you'll find one thing in common. They trained their minds to love long-term hard challenges. They didn't just survive the struggle. They embraced it. They welcomed it like a necessary test. And until you do the same, you'll always live under your potential, wondering why life feels stuck while others rise. People today want quick answers, quick wins, fast money. They want it all without the sacrifice. But that's not how the world rewards greatness. You cannot shortcut growth. You cannot microwave excellence. And you cannot think like a child in a world that demands adults who carry responsibility. The reason most people never reach their highest level isn't because they can't. It's because the first time something becomes too hard, too slow, too uncertain, they quit. They don't know how to keep going when it stops being exciting. But you must become the opposite. You must train your mind to lean into it. When you commit to long-term hard challenges, you separate yourself from the pack, not just mentally, emotionally, spiritually. The person who learns to endure, to focus, to delay gratification, becomes dangerous, not to others, but to everything that once held them back. You stop flinching. You stop doubting. You stop needing everything to go right. And that's when real progress begins. Not when things are perfect, but when you keep showing up even when they're not. And make no mistake, your brain will try to pull you back. It's built to seek safety, comfort, pleasure. It's built to avoid anything uncertain. So when you start building something bigger than you've ever done before, a business, a body, a skill, your own mind will resist. You'll feel fear. You'll feel fatigue. You'll feel like maybe this isn't for you. But that's not the truth. That's just the old you, fighting for survival. And if you give in, you feed weakness. But if you stand tall and stay in the process, you build strength. Most people never think to train their minds the way they train their bodies. But the mind is where everything begins. If you don't get mentally stronger, you'll keep falling for the same distractions. You'll get excited for a few days, then burn out. You'll keep quitting and starting over, always wondering, why nothing sticks. But when you train your mind for the long game, everything changes. You stop needing pivot. You build discipline. You build emotional stamina. You build the muscle to suffer for a worthy cause. And that's what most people forget. Long-term challenges reveal your character. They show you who you really are. When the rewards aren't instant, when the applause disappears, when no one is watching, that's when the real test begins. And if you can keep going when it's just you and your thoughts and your effort, you become the kind of person who can't be stopped. There's a power in boredom, in repetition, in the grind, in the lonely hours where no one's clapping. That's where you sharpen your edge. That's where you separate your future from your past. That's where you make the quiet decision that this time you won't quit, that this time you'll endure, that this time, no matter how slow the path feels, you'll finish what you started. People love to talk about goals. They love to write them down, make vision boards, talk about dreams. But goals don't mean a thing if you don't build the habits to match. And habits are forged in hard places. Long-term discipline is not sexy. It's not exciting. It doesn't feel good in the moment, but it's what creates breakthroughs. It's what creates confidence. It's what makes you proud to look in the mirror at the end of the day. You see, when you train your mind to enjoy long-term pain for long-term payoff, you stop chasing dopamine. You start chasing growth, and you realize that all the easy roads you used to take were stealing your future. They felt good, but they gave you nothing. They cost you time. They cost you identity. They robbed you of the pride that only comes from doing the hard thing and not quitting. Every person you admire, every builder, every leader, every billionaire, they didn't get there through excitement. They got there through relentless consistency. They worked when it was hard. They sacrificed when it was inconvenient. They kept going when they felt empty. And the reason they reached that level is because they stayed when others ran. You must learn to do the same. That means you have to stop looking for shortcuts. Stop chasing trends. Stop being obsessed with the outcome and fall in love with the process. Show up when it's boring. Show up when it's hard. Show up when it doesn't feel like it's working. Because something is always working if you're growing. Your mind must become your ally, not your enemy. And that only happens when you choose to do hard things regularly. Wake up early when you don't want to. Study when it's easier to scroll. Work on your dream after a long day when your body wants to collapse. That's how you build grit. That's how you build identity. That's how you step into the version of you that deserves success. But remember, no one's coming to make you do this. No one's checking up on your dreams. No one's going to drag you into greatness. This is on you. And it starts by changing what you value. Do you value comfort more than progress? Do you value short-term pleasure more than long-term results? Do you value being liked more than being respected? If you want to become the person you've always imagined, you must rewire what your brain craves. You must teach yourself that discipline is more satisfying than distraction. That pain for purpose is more rewarding than ease without reward. That the long way is often the only way that actually works. And this mindset, this love for long-term hard challenges, will affect everything. You'll start to show up differently in your relationships. You'll stop needing validation. You'll start solving problems instead of escaping them. You'll become the one others lean on, not the one who breaks when life gets heavy. Because here's the truth. Your life won't get easier. That's not how this works. But you can get stronger. Your mind can get sharper. Your will can get deeper. When that happens, the same challenges that used to break you become the reason you rise. So if you're serious about building a billionaire mindset, this is non-negotiable. You must stop running from hard things. You must stop needing everything to feel good. And you must start building a mind that gets stronger the longer the journey takes. That's how you win. That's how you build something that lasts. And if you do this, if you choose to train your mind to love long-term hard challenges, there will come a day where the things that once overwhelmed you become easy. Not because life got easier, but because you did the work to get stronger. Now it's your turn. Stop waiting. Start building. Decide that the hard road is the only road that leads where you want to go. And walk it with discipline. Walk it with fire. Walk it like someone who refuses to go back to average. Because if you do, your future will never look the same again. Number 3, raise your daily standards higher than your excuses. You will never live the life you want if your excuses mean more to you than your standards. Every day, you are either choosing to move forward or stay where you are. And that decision starts the moment you open your eyes. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or time. They fail because their standards are too low and their excuses are too comfortable. They wake up late, skip what matters, blame the world, and then wonder why nothing changes. But if you want a better life, you have to stop living like that. You have to raise your standards so high that your excuses start sounding ridiculous, even to you. This isn't about perfection. This is about self-respect. It's about saying, I refuse to keep living beneath what I know I'm capable of. Because deep down, you already know the difference between the life you're settling for and the life you really want. And it's not luck. It's not someone giving you permission. It's you holding yourself to a higher level. When you stop making room for excuses, you make room for discipline, and that's what transforms your life. Standards that don't change just because your mood does. People don't rise by accident. They rise because they demanded more from themselves than they used to. They got tired of the lies they told themselves. Lies like I'll start tomorrow. Lies like I'm too busy. Lies like it's not the right time. The truth is, your life won't change until your standards become stronger than your emotions. Until you stop letting tiredness or fear or laziness be the reason you stop. Think about what your life would look like if your standards controlled your actions instead of your feelings. If you said, I don't care how I feel today, this is what I do now. That's where growth begins. When you raise your standard of how you treat your health, you start showing up differently. When you raise your standard of how you handle money, your future gets more secure. When you raise your standard of how you use your time, your results come. But none of this happens if you keep making room for excuses. Excuses are easy. That's why most people use them. They protect you from responsibility. They shield you from discomfort, but they also trap you. They build invisible walls around your potential. You can't grow in the same place you keep justifying your weakness. You can't become stronger if you keep giving yourself a way out every time things get hard. And that's what separates the few from the many. Few say no more. The few say, I hold myself to a higher level now. They don't lower the target to match their energy. They raise their energy to hit the target. And when that becomes your mindset, excuses lose their power. You start catching yourself when you say things like, I don't have time. You start asking what's really important. You stop saying I'm too tired. And you start asking what needs to be done right now. Standards are not just goals. They're boundaries. They define what you will and won't tolerate from yourself anymore. If you keep letting yourself off the hook every time it gets uncomfortable, you'll keep living the same day over and over, calling it a life. But when you raise your standards, you create a new normal, a new baseline, a new version of you that says, this is who I am now, and I won't go back. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about refusing to settle for less than you deserve. It's about saying, I will wake up early because my life matters too much to waste. It's about saying, I will get the job done because my goals are more important than my excuses. It's about choosing the future over the moment, choosing progress over comfort, choosing truth over lies. And the truth is, you don't need anyone's permission to raise your standards. You don't need a big event or a lucky break. All you need is to decide, right here, right now, that you will no longer be the person who accepts average from yourself. That you will no longer allow the same weak reasons to steal your time and your future. That you will look your excuses in the face and say, not today. I've got something more important to build. And I promise you this, when you raise your standards, your life begins to shift. Slowly at first, quietly. But then it starts to catch fire. You get momentum. You get clarity. You get pride. Not because everything's perfect, but because you're finally showing up the way you were meant to. You're finally keeping promises to yourself. And that's where self-worth comes from. Not from talk, not from dreams, from action, from integrity, from proving to yourself over and over that you can count on you. Most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. But people with high standards don't wait. They move. They take control of the day before the day takes control of them. They don't ask if they feel like it. They decide what matters, and then they do it. Not just once, every single day. Because once your standards are high enough, there is no debate. There is no delay. There is no excuse strong enough to stop you. You will never regret the effort you put into building a stronger standard, but you will regret every day you gave in to weakness. Every moment you told yourself it was okay to take it easy when you knew you had more to give. Every time you chose comfort and called it self-care. That's not care, that's avoidance. And it's costing you everything you say you want. So ask yourself right now, what excuses have you been protecting? What lies have you been living with just because they're familiar? And what would your life look like if you stopped letting those excuses run the show? Because it's not too late to change. You can rewrite your story. You can become the person who doesn't fold under pressure, who doesn't hide behind stories, who doesn't look for the easy way out. You can become the person who wakes up every morning with a higher standard and the strength to live it. But you have to start now, not next week, not when things settle down. Now, choose one thing today where you raise the bar. One thing where you stop making excuses. One thing where you prove to yourself that the old you is done and the new you just stepped in. And when that becomes your habit, when that becomes your standard, when that becomes your identity, your entire life will transform. Because now you're no longer driven by how you feel. You're driven by who you've decided to become. So raise your standards higher than your excuses and don't look back. The future you've always wanted begins the moment you stop settling for less. Number 4, cut out people who drain your energy fast. If you keep giving your time and energy to people who drain you, your future will never get the power it needs to grow. You can't carry dead weight and expect to fly. There comes a time when you have to be brutally honest with yourself about who you allow around you. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Some people are not there to build with you. They're there to distract, discourage, and delay. And if you don't remove them fast, they will slow you down quietly and slowly until one day you wake up tired, unmotivated, and lost in someone else's story. Every person in your life is either fueling your fire or putting it out, and most of the time. The people who drain you don't do it with screaming or violence. They do it with subtle comments, passive doubt, fake support, and quiet resentment. They tell you to be realistic when you're trying to grow. They make jokes about your goals. They say, why work so hard? Because they've already settled for less. And here's the hard truth. They don't want you to succeed too far above them because your progress makes them uncomfortable. You must protect your peace like it's your greatest asset. Because it is. You can't build a billionaire mindset surrounded by people who think average is good enough. You can't stay hungry when everyone around you is comfortable with crumbs. You can't stay sharp when your environment is full of confusion and emotional mess. People's energy is contagious, and if you're not careful, their self-doubt becomes your hesitation. Their fear becomes your delay. Their comfort becomes your cage. You don't need to hate anyone, but you do need to let some people go. Quickly, without guilt, without drama, without waiting for them to understand why. Because the longer you keep explaining your growth to someone who's not growing, the more energy you waste trying to be understood instead of moving forward. You don't owe anyone your time just because you have history. You don't have to feel bad for choosing your mental health. You don't have to hold on to connections that no longer align with your future. Growth requires choices. And one of the hardest choices is to walk away from people you once tolerated. Look at your life right now. Who gives you energy? Who drains it? Who supports your direction? Who constantly pulls you into pointless drama, gossip, distraction, or negativity? You already know the answer. You feel it. Your body tells you. Your mind tells you. Your productivity tells you. You just haven't acted on it yet. But nothing changes until you do. Sometimes it's not even about bad people. Sometimes it's about people who are just not for you anymore. You're changing. You're growing. And not everyone can go with you. Some relationships serve their purpose, but they're done now. And holding on to what's familiar can cost you what's possible. You can either keep trying to make everyone happy, or you can finally take control of your own energy and use it to build the life you want. You must stop negotiating your peace with people who don't care about your purpose. Stop letting guilt talk you into staying stuck. Stop letting loyalty to the past destroy your future. Start thinking about what you need, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and only allow people into your life who match that standard. You can't keep complaining about the energy you're receiving while still entertaining the people who drain it. This doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become clear. You speak less, you listen more, and you pay attention to how you feel around certain people. If you constantly feel drained, small, judged, or confused after interacting with someone, you don't need more signs. That's all the clarity you need. You don't fix your future by fixing people who don't want to be fixed. You save your energy and use it where it counts. And here's the truth. Once you clear out the people who drain you, you make space for people who build you. You open the door for better conversations, stronger relationships, higher standards, and deeper peace. You start attracting people who are serious about growth, focused on building and committed to something bigger than themselves. But that shift can't happen until you create the space. It's not about being better than anyone. It's about being better for yourself, better habits, better environments, better emotional boundaries, better company. You're allowed to be intentional with your circle. You're allowed to grow out of relationships that no longer serve who you're becoming. You're allowed to choose peace over chaos, growth over comfort, reality over loyalty to the wrong people. You don't need permission to protect your energy. You just need courage. The courage to say, I'm done giving power to people who only take from me. The courage to stop answering calls from people who never ask how you're really doing. The courage to stop showing up for conversations that leave you feeling worse. The courage to choose silence over fake support. The courage to be alone until the right people arrive. And don't be surprised if cutting them off brings you more clarity than you expected. Watch how your motivation returns. Watch how your focus sharpens. Watch how your confidence begins to rebuild. It's not magic. It's just energy being restored. The truth is, sometimes it's not that you're unmotivated. It's that you're emotionally drained from trying to manage other people's dysfunction. And once you stop doing that, you get your power back. So ask yourself today, who in your life do you keep entertaining out of guilt, habit, or what relationships are silently robbing you of your drive, your clarity, your confidence? And how much longer are you willing to let that happen? This is your life, your goals, your energy. You don't get another shot at today, so stop giving it to people who don't bring you peace. Cut them out fast. Not because you're angry, not because you're better, but because your future matters, because your focus matters, because your emotional state matters more than someone else's comfort. You are not here to carry people who refuse to carry themselves. You're not here to babysit the insecure, the manipulative, or the negative. You're here to grow. You're here to build something real, and that means protecting your space, even if it's uncomfortable at first. Walk away from people who drain you, and never look back. Watch how fast your energy returns. Watch how fast your mind clears. Watch how fast your vision becomes sharper than ever. You were never the problem. You were just surrounded by the wrong people for too long. Start choosing yourself. Choose your mental peace. Choose your emotional. Choose your future. And don't wait. Do it now, because the longer you delay, the longer you give your life away to people who don't deserve it. Your energy is precious. Protect it with everything you've got, and never apologize for choosing to live. Number 5. Build a strict schedule and follow it without negotiation. If you want to step into the mindset of a billionaire, one thing becomes absolutely clear. Your time is your most valuable asset, and how you control it will determine everything you achieve. No success story ever unfolded without discipline and a clear schedule that was followed like a promise to oneself. This is not about rigid rules to make life dull. It's about creating the freedom that comes from knowing exactly what you need to do and when to do it. Without excuses, without negotiations, and without delay. You need to build a strict schedule and follow it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Every day offers the same 24 hours to all of us. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is what they decide to do with those hours. Most people float through their days waiting for motivation or inspiration to strike. But a billionaire's mind knows better. It knows that motivation is fleeting, and inspiration is unpredictable. What you need is a schedule so clear and so committed that it moves you forward, no matter how you feel. No negotiation means no backing out, because you're tired. No bargaining because you're distracted. No compromises because the world throws distractions at you. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you planned to do something important, but found yourself caught in a whirlwind of distractions, endless scrolling, phone calls, or half-hearted commitment? How many times have you promised yourself that tomorrow will be different, only to wake up and repeat the same cycle? A strict schedule is the antidote to this. It's the framework that holds your dreams steady when your willpower shakes. It's the structure that keeps you on course when the noise around you screams to pull you off. You need to take control and write down your day in advance. Not just vague ideas like work on business or exercise late. You must break your day into clear, specific blocks of time dedicated to meaningful actions. Call clients from 9 to 10. Write your project from 10 to 12. Review finances at 2, and so on. When every hour has a purpose, your mind becomes focused. It stops wasting energy deciding what to do next, because your schedule has already done the thinking for you. A strict schedule is a promise to yourself that your goals matter more than momentary feelings. There will be days when you feel exhausted, overwhelmed, or tempted to skip. But if your schedule is non-negotiable, those days won't break you. You show up regardless. You do the work regardless. And with each disciplined day, your confidence grows. You start to trust yourself because you keep your promises, and trust in yourself is the foundation of a billionaire mindset. Another thing many miss is that following a strict schedule is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You don't need to execute flawlessly every day. You need to execute regularly. When your schedule is a non-negotiable part of your identity, even if you stumble, you get back on track quickly. You don't let one missed block back into an entire day lost. You don't allow one distraction to snowball into a week of excuses. Setting a schedule also teaches you to respect your time and your boundaries. When your day is planned, you protect those time blocks like they are meetings with the most important person in the world, yourself. You don't let calls, random invites, or distractions hijack your focus. Saying no becomes easier because you know your schedule matters. You honor it, and others begin to respect it too. This habit does something deeper than just improve productivity. It rewires your brain. When you make a schedule a sacred rule, your brain stops seeking easy escapes and distractions. It becomes accustomed to focused work, productive flow, and meaningful breaks. You become mentally sharper and emotionally stronger because your schedule eliminates the chaos that drains your energy. Building a strict schedule also prepares you for opportunity. When your life is organized, you can move faster, make decisions clearer, and act with confidence. Opportunities often come unexpectedly, and when you're disciplined, you can seize them instead of fumbling in confusion or procrastination. A schedule is like a foundation for a skyscraper. Without it, nothing stands tall or steady. You must also be intentional about rest within your schedule. A strict plan doesn't mean non-stop work. It means work balanced with real breaks to recharge. Billionaires don't run themselves into the ground. They value their energy and plan recovery. That's why their schedules include moments to step back, reflect, and restore. The difference is they do it by design, not by accident. It's crucial to realize that your schedule is your commitment to your future self. Every block of focused time is a gift to the person you will become. The habits you build today define your reality tomorrow. If you keep negotiating with yourself, tomorrow will look just like today. But if you honor your schedule every day, your future self will thank you for the discipline and strength you showed when it mattered most. Here's the truth. The world around you will always try to steal your time and attention. There will always be distractions, demands, and emergencies that want you off course. But a billionaire mindset builds a shield through structure. You don't allow external chaos to rule your internal order. You are the master of your day. You own every hour. No compromises. Start small if you have to. Build a schedule for one day, then two, then a week. Track your progress and notice how your focus grows. Notice how your confidence builds when you keep your commitments to yourself. Notice how much more you get done when your time is planned and protected. These aren't empty promises. This is real work. This is real change. The power of a strict schedule lies not just in what you do, but in who you become. You become reliable. You become disciplined. You become someone others trust to lead, deliver, and create. Your mindset shifts from reactive to proactive, from wishful thinking to strategic action, from distraction to laser focus. You're not just managing your time, you're managing your life. And when you manage your life this well, money, success, and fulfillment naturally follow. A billionaire mindset starts with the decision to be the boss of your minutes, to treat your time like gold, to show up every day with a plan, and the determination to follow it without negotiation. So commit to this now. Design your schedule, protect it fiercely, follow it daily. No excuses, no bargaining, no letting yourself off the hook. You owe it to yourself to respect your time and your dreams, because if you don't, no one else will. This is how you build a mindset that refuses to settle. This is how you take control of your future. This is how you step into the rare few who live by design, not by default. Start today and watch how your life transforms with every hour you claim for yourself. Number 6, take full responsibility for every outcome in your life. No one will ever hand you your destiny on a silver platter. If you want to change your life, you must claim full responsibility for every outcome, good or bad, that you experience. This truth is both liberating and terrifying. Liberating, because it puts the power squarely in your hands. Terrifying because it means you can no longer blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck. The moment you take full ownership, you begin to write your story with intention instead of reacting to whatever life throws at you. It's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external forces when things don't go your way. If only I had better luck, the right connections, or more resources. But those are just excuses that keep you stuck in the same place, replaying the same disappointments over and over. When you take responsibility, you stop playing victim and start becoming a creator. You shift from waiting for life to happen to making life happen. Think about it. Every success you admire, every breakthrough, every victory comes from someone who accepted responsibility for their results. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't point fingers. They didn't drown in excuses. They owned their choices, their actions, and their outcomes, and then adjusted their course until they reached their goal. Responsibility is the root of all progress. Owning every outcome means you look in the mirror and say, "This is on me." Even when things are messy or painful, you don't turn away or deny your role. That honesty creates clarity. It forces you to examine what you could have done differently and what you must do next. It eliminates wasted energy spent on blame and redirects it into solutions. This mindset is the difference between stagnation and growth. When you take full responsibility, fear loses its grip. Why? Because fear thrives in uncertainty and helplessness. When you blame others, you give away your power and become a passenger in your own life. But when you accept responsibility, you become the driver. Even if you face setbacks, you know you can steer toward a better destination. That certainty fuels courage and confidence. One of the hardest parts of this mindset is confronting your mistakes without excuse. Nobody likes admitting failure, but every mistake is a lesson disguised as discomfort. When you stop avoiding responsibility, you begin to embrace failure as a necessary step on your path. You stop fearing it and start learning from it. You transform setbacks into setups for your comeback. Taking responsibility also means refusing to let your environment dictate your result. You might live in challenging circumstances or face obstacles beyond your control, but your response is always yours to own. No matter where you are or what you face, your choices shape your reality. When you fully grasp this, you stop feeling trapped and start feeling empowered. Imagine what it feels like to stop complaining and start acting, to stop feeling powerless and start feeling purposeful, to stop waiting for someone else to fix things and start being the one who fixes things. That shift changes everything. It rewires your brain to focus on possibilities instead of problems, on action instead of excuses, on progress instead of blame. When you take responsibility for every outcome, you also reclaim your time and energy. Excuses consume mental space and drain your motivation. Blaming others wastes precious emotional energy, but responsibility channels all that focus into productivity. It frees your mind to create solutions, strategize your next move, and push past obstacles without hesitation. This mindset transforms your relationships too. When you own your part in every interaction and outcome, you communicate with honesty and maturity. You stop blaming others for conflicts and start seeking understanding and resolution. You build trust because people sense your accountability. They see that you're dependable and strong enough to handle the truth, no matter how uncomfortable. It's important to realize that responsibility isn't about perfection. It's about ownership. You won't get everything right, but you will get everything intentional. You will become someone who learns quickly, adapts fast, and refuses to let setbacks define you. You will become resilient, because your power comes from inside, not from external approval or circumstances. As you embrace this mindset, you'll notice a remarkable shift in how the world responds to you. Opportunities come to those who act with ownership. Doors open for people who take initiative. Challenges become invitations for growth instead of reasons to quit. Your confidence will soar as you prove to yourself again and again that you can handle whatever comes your way. This transformation demands courage. It asks you to be brutally honest with yourself about where you stand and what you've done. It challenges you to stop living in excuses and start living in accountability. But the payoff is immense. You gain control over your life's direction. You build unstoppable momentum. You create a future by design, not by default. So today, ask yourself, are you ready to stop blaming circumstances, people, or luck? Are you prepared to own every choice, action, and outcome in your life? Will you step into the role of creator, leader, and architect of your destiny? This decision will define everything that follows. Don't wait for external validation or perfect timing. The moment to take full responsibility is now. Own your successes and your failures equally. Learn from every experience. Adjust your course without hesitation. When you do this consistently, you don't just change your life, you become the person capable of living at the highest level. Take the reins. Be the author of your story. Accept full responsibility and watch how your reality bends to your future self will thank you for the courage you show today. And remember, freedom begins the moment you stop blaming and start owning. If you're ready to transform your mindset and your life, start now. Commit to taking responsibility for everything that happens in your world. Notice how it shifts your energy, sharpens your focus, and accelerates your growth. This is the foundation of true power, and it's waiting for you to claim it. Number 7, spend more time learning than seeking quick results. If you want to build a life that lasts, you have to stop chasing quick fixes and start investing in deep, meaningful learning. The hunger for fast results is a trap that keeps so many people stuck on a treadmill, running hard, but never really moving forward. Real growth, the kind that changes your reality forever, doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, curiosity, and a relentless commitment to mastering your craft, your mindset, and your skills. The fastest way to sabotage your dreams is to sprint toward instant success without laying the foundation first. Think about the most successful people you admire. Their achievements didn't come from shortcuts or hacks. They came from years, sometimes decades, of learning, failing, adjusting, and growing. There's a quiet power in those who choose to become students for life. They understand that knowledge builds compound interest, much like money. Every lesson learned, every skill sharpened, adds up until one day, you realize you have built an unshakable foundation no one can take away. In today's world, it's easy to get seduced by the promise of rapid results. Social media feeds bombard you with stories of overnight successes, quick wins, and easy hacks. But that's just the highlight reel. A carefully curated illusion. Behind every overnight success is a long story of grit, struggle, and relentless learning. Those who focus solely on immediate outcomes miss the bigger picture. They skip the essential work of preparation. And when obstacles inevitably arrive, they crumble. Spending more time learning means embracing the discomfort of the process. It means saying no to shortcuts and yes to persistence. It means sitting with uncertainty and trusting that the small, often invisible progress you make today will compound into massive breakthroughs tomorrow. This isn't glamorous, and it's certainly not fast, but it is the path of mastery. It's the path that leads to confidence, resilience, and true expertise. When you prioritize learning over instant results, you train your mind to think long-term. You stop measuring your value by immediate wins and start measuring it by your growth. This mindset frees you from the pressure to prove yourself every day and instead allows you to focus on becoming better quietly and consistently. That shift in perspective changes everything. Your motivation, your patience, and your ability to overcome setbacks. One of the biggest barriers to this mindset is fear. Fear of failure. Fear of looking incompetent. Fear of falling behind. But here's the truth. Learning means you are not perfect now. And that's the only way to become great is to be willing to look like a beginner, to make mistakes, and to keep moving forward anyway. When you make learning your priority, you stop fearing mistakes and start welcoming them as opportunities to improve. This approach also changes your relationship with time. Instead of rushing through projects or decisions, you take the time to research, reflect, and refine your strategies. You stop chasing every new trend or quick hack and focus on building skills and knowledge that last. You become like a sculptor, patiently shaping your future one thoughtful stroke at a time rather than a sprinter looking for a shortcut to the finish line. There's a powerful psychological shift when you commit to learning first. You gain humility because you accept that you don't know everything and never will. You develop curiosity because you seek new ideas and perspectives. You cultivate resilience because you understand that mastery is a marathon, not a sprint. And with all these qualities, you become unstoppable. Imagine the freedom of no longer needing immediate validation from results. Imagine waking up excited to dive into the process of learning because you know it's the only way to build lasting success. Imagine feeling confident that every challenge you face is a chance to deepen your knowledge and sharpen your skill. This is not a distant dream. It's available to anyone willing to embrace the journey of learning over the lure of quick wins. Learning deeply also rewires your brain for creativity and innovation. When you understand your field or your craft intimately, you start seeing connections others miss. You begin to innovate because your foundation is solid. Quick results often come from superficial effort, but true breakthroughs require depth. The more you learn, the more original and effective your solutions become. When you shift your focus from immediate gains to long-term mastery, your life becomes a series of deliberate actions that build momentum. Each hour spent reading, practicing, reflecting, or studying is an investment in your future. These hours accumulate into a reservoir of knowledge and skills that no one can take away. This reservoir becomes your competitive advantage in a world full of distractions and impatience. It's also important to remember that learning isn't just about gathering information. It's about applying it. Knowledge without action is useless. So as you dedicate more time to learning, make sure you also create space for experimentation, failure, and growth. Testing what you learn in the real world transforms theory into wisdom. This balance between study and practice is what separates dreamers from doers. Your mindset around learning will shape how you handle obstacles. Instead of seeing failures as dead ends, you will see them as lessons. Instead of giving up when results are slow, you will persist because you understand the power of compounding growth. This resilience is a hallmark of every person who has achieved lasting success. They didn't quit when it was hard. They leaned into the hard. If you want to build something real and lasting, your focus must be on mastering the process, not just the outcome. Quick wins might give you temporary satisfaction, but deep learning delivers lifelong transformation. It's the difference between a house built on sand and one built on rock. When storms come, the latter stands firm while the former collapses. So start now. Dedicate more time to studying your craft, your industry, or yourself. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow, rather than just celebrate your results. Read books that stretch your thinking. Take courses that deepen your expertise. Journal your lessons and track your progress. Every step you take toward learning is a step toward unstoppable success. Remember, patience in learning is not weakness. It's strength disguised as persistence. It's the quiet power that fuels giants behind the scenes. By committing to learn more and chase quick results less, you are setting yourself up for a life that is rich, meaningful, and truly yours. Now make this commitment to yourself. Choose to be the person who values knowledge over instant gratification. Embrace the journey of learning with passion and purpose. Watch how this decision transforms not only what you achieve, but who you become. The path to greatness is paved with learning. Walk it boldly and relentlessly. Number 8. Practice making bold decisions without waiting for approval. If you want to live a life that's truly yours, you must learn to make bold decisions without waiting for anyone's permission. Waiting for approval is the silent killer of dreams. It keeps you stuck, safe, and small while the world moves on without you. The moment you realize that the only approval you need is your own, you unlock a power so profound it can rewrite your entire story. Bold decisions don't ask for validation. They demand action, courage, and a deep trust in yourself. Too many people are trapped by the fear of judgment and the desire to be liked. They hesitate, second guess, and delay because they're waiting for someone else to say, yes, you can. But the truth is, nobody outside you holds the key to your success or happiness. Others may offer opinions, but their voices should never drown out your inner conviction. If you wait for the perfect moment or perfect endorsement, you will wait forever. Life doesn't pause for permission. Think about every breakthrough you've ever witnessed. Behind those moments stands someone who dared to leap without looking for permission. They made choices that startled the crowd, defied convention, and ignored the naysayer. That's how change happens, through decisive action, fueled by belief in oneself, rather than external validation. Waiting for approval is the enemy of progress. The problem with waiting is not just delay. It's the way it erodes your confidence. Every moment you defer your decision to others, you reinforce a belief that you are not enough. You condition your mind to rely on outside voices for direction. Over time, this erodes your self-trust, leaving you feeling powerless and uncertain. The more you depend on approval, the smaller and weaker you become inside. But what if you flip the script? What if you started making decisions first, then dealt with consequences later? This approach might feel risky or uncomfortable at first, but it's the fastest way to build courage and self-reliance. Each bold choice is a training ground, a muscle you develop to overcome fear and doubt. The more you practice deciding without permission, the stronger your inner authority grows. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is permission. Permission to act, to fail, to succeed, and to be imperfect. When you stop waiting for someone else's approval, you reclaim control over your life. You become the captain of your ship, charting your course with confidence and conviction. This freedom is addictive. Once tasted, you won't want to surrender it back to external voices. This doesn't mean acting recklessly or without thought. Bold decisions require clarity, intention, and a willingness to own the outcomes. But they don't require a committee or a green light from others. The fastest way to learn and grow is by trusting your instincts and stepping forward, even when you don't have all the answers. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. When you practice making decisions boldly, you also become a beacon to others. People are drawn to those who move with conviction because it signals strength and leadership. You inspire confidence, not because you're flawless, but because you show up fully and authentically, owning your choices. This magnetic energy attracts opportunities and allies who resonate with your clarity. The habit of seeking approval often comes from deep conditioning, family, culture, or past experiences that taught you to please others. Breaking free requires conscious effort and daily commitment. It means catching yourself when you hesitate and asking, "Am I waiting for someone else's permission again?" Then deliberately choosing to act anyway. This small daily rebellion builds momentum toward a fearless life. Fear of criticism or rejection is a powerful force, but it loses power when you practice bold decision-making regularly. You learn that no matter what others think or say, your worth is not diminished. You grow comfortable with discomfort, knowing that risk is part of growth. Each bold decision shatters illusions of safety and reveals the expansive freedom on the other side. Imagine how different your life would be if you stopped asking for approval today. How many opportunities would you seize? How many ideas would you bring to life? How many relationships would you change or build with authenticity? The courage to decide for yourself is the ultimate form of self-respect, and it invites the universe to meet you at your level. This practice also trains your mind to focus on solutions rather than approval. Instead of asking, "Will they like this?" you ask, "What's the best decision for me right now?" This shift rewires your brain to prioritize your values and goals over external opinion. Over time, your confidence in your decision-making becomes unshakable, and your actions become aligned with your true purpose. Bold decision-making without waiting for approval is a radical act of self-love and empowerment. It means trusting your intuition, embracing uncertainty, and owning your path no matter what others think. It means saying yes to yourself even when others say no. This is the secret of every leader, innovator, and creator who changed the world. They made decisions that frightened the crowd and followed through with fearless resolve. Now is the moment to start practice. Begin with small choices: what to wear, how to spend your time, what to say yes or no to. Notice how often you hesitate for approval and choose differently. Celebrate each time you act boldly without looking back. Build on this momentum until it becomes your natural way of operating. You will discover a new level of freedom, clarity, and joy. Your life deserves your full ownership. Waiting for approval keeps you living in the shadows of what could be. Decide boldly today and watch as your world transforms, because you have stepped into your power. The only permission you is your own. Claim it, live it, and inspire others to do the same. Your future self will thank you for the courage you show right now. Number 9, push yourself daily to do the uncomfortable tasks. If you want to change your life, you must become friends with discomfort. Not just tolerate it, but actively seek it out. Every moment you choose the easy path, you build a habit that keeps you stuck. But when you push yourself daily to do what feels uncomfortable, that's when transformation begins. Growth lives on the edge of discomfort, and your willingness to face it daily determines the size of the life you build. Most people avoid discomfort because it feels risky, uncertain, even painful. The mind naturally resists what challenges its comfort zone. Yet the reality is clear. Comfort zones are prisons disguised as safety nets. They keep you in predictable patterns that feel secure but suffocate your potential. When you step outside, you open the door to new skills, new confidence, and new opportunities that comfort could never provide. Imagine a sculptor shaping a masterpiece. The process isn't gentle. It requires force, pressure, and sometimes breaking through resistance. Your growth is no different. The tasks that make you uncomfortable, the difficult conversations, the early mornings, the extra reps, the unpopular decisions, these are the chisels shaping the best version of you. Avoiding them delays your masterpiece. Indefinite. This is why pushing yourself every day to do uncomfortable tasks isn't just about discipline. It's about training your mind and body to handle life's challenges with grace. Every time you choose discomfort, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your fear. You expand your limits and build resilience that no crisis can shake. Over time, what once felt unbearable becomes routine, and your confidence soars. There's a secret most people don't realize. Discomfort is the fastest path to freedom. Freedom from fear, from doubt, from self-imposed. When you push through the tough tasks, you gain control over your reactions and your mindset. You start seeing obstacles as opportunities rather than threats. This shift rewires your brain, making you more adaptable and resourceful in all areas of life. Think about the last time you faced a difficult task and walked away without doing it. How did that feel afterward? Probably heavy, regretful, or stuck. Now think about the times you forced yourself to do the hard thing. Even when you didn't feel like it. You probably felt a rush of pride, accomplishment, and a boost of energy. That moment of victory fuels the next push and creates a momentum that is unstoppable. Pushing yourself into discomfort daily also dismantles the excuses that sabotage progress. Excuses often sound reasonable. I'm tired. I don't have time. It's too hard. But they are just walls built to keep you safe from growth. Every uncomfortable task you complete is a brick knocked out of that wall. As the wall crumbles, new horizons appear, and your vision of what's possible expands. This practice is deeply psychological. It trains your brain to tolerate uncertainty and stress, which are inevitable in any meaningful journey. Without this training, fear of discomfort paralyzes you and keeps your goals distant. But when you face challenges regularly, you build a tolerance that makes even the biggest obstacles feel manageable. You reprogram your mind to see discomfort as a sign of progress, rather than a warning to retreat. Importantly, doing uncomfortable tasks daily builds discipline beyond willpower. Willpower fades, but discipline is a habit that takes over effortlessly. It's the automatic drive that pushes you forward, even on days you feel depleted. This habit becomes the foundation of every achievement, because it doesn't rely on motivation, which fluctuates, but on consistent action. That's how small daily choices turn into extraordinary outcomes. Some of the most successful people in history share one trait: a relentless commitment to doing what others avoid. They understood early that success is built on a mountain of small, uncomfortable decisions stacked day after day. Thus, consistency sets them apart. It creates a character that no challenge can break, and a momentum that no distraction can derail. Your discomfort today is the soil where your future success takes root. The harder the task, the more nutrients it adds to your growth. When you push yourself into discomfort repeatedly, you rewrite your internal story. You shift from seeing challenges as threats to seeing them as invitations to expand. You become a person who thrives in uncertainty because you've trained yourself to handle it. But how do you start? Begin by identifying the tasks you habitually avoid, the ones that cause tension, hesitation, or procrastination. Then make a daily commitment. No matter what, do one uncomfortable task every day. It doesn't have to be monumental. It just has to stretch you beyond your comfort zone. Over time, increase the challenge. This daily ritual rewires your mindset and prepares you for the battles that matter most. When discomfort becomes your daily companion, fear loses its grip. Instead of shrinking from difficulty, you learn to embrace it as the proving ground for your growth. This mindset transforms your relationship with stress, pressure, and uncertainty. They no longer control you. You control them. This freedom allows you to focus on what matters most: your goals, your vision, and your purpose. Embracing discomfort daily also builds self-respect. When you show up for yourself consistently, even when it's hard, you prove that your dreams are worth the struggle. This self-respect radiates outward and affects every relationship and opportunity you encounter. People respect those who respect themselves, and that respect becomes a powerful magnet for success. It's important to realize that discomfort is not a punishment. It's a signpost on the path to greatness. It marks the places where transformation happens, where old limitations fall away, and new strengths emerge. When you push through discomfort, you break free from the chains of complacency and step into your full potential. Imagine the life you want: more confidence, more success, deeper fulfillment. That life is on the other side of your daily discomfort. The question is, will you do what it takes? Will you face the hard tasks each day, even when they scream for avoidance? The choice is yours. Growth is waiting, but it requires you to act. Start today, choose one task that makes you uncomfortable, and do it fully, with intention and commitment. Notice the power that comes from breaking through resistance. Let that power fuel your next step. Keep going. Every day you push yourself into discomfort. You carve a path toward a life few dare to live, but many dream of. Your future self will thank you for the courage you show now. This is not just discipline. It is liberation. It is the secret to unlocking your greatest potential and building a life of meaning and strength. Step into discomfort with open arms and watch as your world expands beyond anything you imagined possible. Number 10, treat your time like it's worth millions every hour. Every moment you waste steals a fragment of your destiny. Time is the most precious resource you'll ever own. And if you don't guard it like gold, it will slip through your fingers forever. Imagine for a second that every hour you live is worth millions. How would that change what you do, who you spend it with, and how fiercely you protect it? This isn't just a mindset, it's a game changer. The secret weapon that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Time is the currency that no one can counterfeit or recover. You can make more money, but you cannot create more time. The moments you let slip away, distracted by trivialities or caught in the endless scroll of meaningless content, are moments you will never get back. And the truth is, every second wasted is a step further from the life you want and closer to regret. When you truly believe your time is worth millions per hour, your choices sharpen, your energy intensifies, and your entire life accelerates toward greatness. Consider this. The world's most successful people don't have special powers or luck. Their superpower is their relationship with time. They treat every minute like an investment. They don't squander it on empty activities or aimless chatter. Instead, they dedicate their hours to actions that multiply value, build momentum, and move them closer to their vision. This discipline around time creates an unstoppable force that propels them ahead, while others fall behind. Think about your daily routine. How many times do you say just 5 more minutes, or I'll do it later, and fall into the trap of procrastination? These tiny moments accumulate, becoming invisible thieves that rob your future self. But when you shift your perspective and view each hour as worth millions, procrastination becomes intolerable. It feels like robbing yourself of the life you deserve. This mental shift isn't just motivational fluff. It's a powerful psychological hack that rewires your brain to prioritize what truly matters. When you place $1 million value on your time, your ability to say no strengthens. You start cutting out distractions, toxic relationships, and habits that drain your energy. You become fiercely protective of your schedule because you understand what you stand to lose. This clarity creates boundaries that free you to focus deeply on your most important goal. You begin to demand more from yourself because you recognize that every moment is an opportunity you can't afford to waste. This is why focusing on time value is not about becoming rigid or joyless. It's about intentional living. When you live with this awareness, you don't just work harder, you work smarter. You prioritize high-leverage tasks that create compounding benefits. You surround yourself with people who uplift your energy and challenge you to grow. You invest in experiences that expand your mind and fuel your passion. Each decision becomes a deliberate step toward building a life that reflects the worth of your time. There's a profound emotional shift that happens when you treat your time like millions per hour. You begin to feel more empowered, more in control. Anxiety about the future diminishes because you know you're investing your moments wisely. Your self-respect grows because you honor the value of your own life. The self-respect becomes a foundation for confidence and resilience, helping you weather challenges without losing sight of your priorities. Imagine the ripple effect in your life. When every hour is treated with this reverence, your productivity soars because you stop wasting time on low-value activities. Your relationships deepen because you're present and intentional with those who matter. Your health improves because you allocate time to nourish your body and mind. Your creativity flourishes because your focused time sparks breakthroughs. Everything shifts because you align your actions with the priceless nature of time. The power of this mindset lies in its simplicity. When you truly believe your time is worth millions, excuses lose their grip. I don't have time becomes, what can I prioritize? I'm too tired. Turns into, how can I recharge efficiently? This change rewires your brain from scarcity thinking to abundance thinking. You start to see time as your ally, not your enemy. Challenges become opportunities to sharpen your focus and accelerate your growth. But it's not just about mental shifts. It's about habits that embody this belief. Start tracking your time with ruthless honesty. Notice where your hours go and identify what drains your most valuable asset. Then ruthlessly eliminate or reduce those time-wasting activities. Replace them with focused, purposeful actions that align with your goals. This practice turns abstract value into tangible results, building momentum that fuels your ambition. This mindset transforms your relationship lists, deadlines, and commitments. When your time is worth millions, meeting deadlines isn't just about obligation. It becomes a sacred promise to yourself. You show up fully, deliver your best work, and honor the investment you're making in your future. This reliability builds trust with others and reinforces your own belief in your capacity to achieve greatness. The most important moment to begin is right now. Stop waiting for the perfect day or the right motivation. Every second is an opportunity to reclaim your time and redirect it toward your vision. Challenge yourself to treat your next hour as if it were worth $1 million. Make deliberate choices, guard your focus, and hold yourself accountable. You will feel a surge of power and clarity that sets you on a trajectory few dare to take. Your time is the soil in which your dreams will grow or wither. Treat it like the treasure it is, and you will cultivate a harvest beyond your imagination. The clock is ticking, and every moment counts more than you realize. Embrace this mindset. Protect your hours fiercely, and watch your life transform into the masterpiece you were born to create. Start now. Your future is waiting for the value you place on your time today.